Welcome back, everybody, to TechMate, the podcast about being a tech brother instead of a tech bro. Today, we're going to be demystifying, bringing a little bit more explanation to you about MFA, which is multi-factor authentication. There's also a couple different ways you could say it: 2FA, two-factor authentication, things like that. It's something that's coming to light in real world as big tech companies are implementing it more and more. Google, Apple, they're forcing you to have MFA, and there's real friction that there is to overcome getting people used to it. It's something that most people find annoying if they don't really understand why it's happening, where it's coming from, what's been done with it. And it's something that I think education is lacking. So if you're interested, share this. If you find anything particularly helpful or enlightening that we're going to talk about, I would encourage you to share it with somebody in your life who you might think could benefit from it. So, what is MFA? MFA is multi-factor authentication. It is essentially some kind of service or application where you log into a website or an app, your bank account maybe, or something at work. You traditionally have a username and a password. Everybody knows that at this point, everybody gets it. You log into your phone, you have a PIN, you log into a work email or your personal email, you have your email address, which is your username, and your password. That used to be enough. That used to be fine. You used to be able to have one layer of security between you and your information. But as the internet and the Internet of Things has evolved, people have gotten better and better at enacting mass scams, and mass security incidents have happened. Huge companies are having security breaches and data leaks, which is a huge topic in its own right, very interesting one. And hackers or even state actors in lots of different cases are attempting to breach companies' data and leak it to the public, either for monetary gain on the dark web or particularly targeting certain individuals, or they might just be phishing, which is a term for like literally casting a line out there, seeing what sticks, who might bite, and seeing what they can get out of it. So this might be like this has happened over and over again. This has happened at hospitals. This has happened at big companies like even the Canadian Revenue Agency has. There's some big like sometimes they don't get access to incredibly sensitive information. It might just be a username, potentially a password. There are passwords that have been leaked, and there are different applications that you can sign up for to see if your information has been involved in a data leak. For instance, Google, you can go to the password section on Google and it will tell you if you should change your password. It will tell you like if your password's potentially been vulnerable to something, and there are third-party applications that will do similar things. Some of them are interesting, worth talking about. Some of them are kind of scammy, like if you sign up for something like, and I'm not coming for delete me or whatever, but I'm somewhat skeptical that these people aren't just taking your information. Maybe they're providing the service that they're promising, which is getting your information off of third-party servers, but I wouldn't be shocked if they are still selling it to an information broker of some kind. It's something that I think people are slowly becoming aware of, but they just don't think about it enough. And it's really difficult to understand if you're not technical or don't care. You might just be like, why the heck do I have to put in a second password into this thing I'm trying to sign into? It is so inconvenient, and I feel like it just kind of happened overnight for people. So all that to say, there's even been DNA companies. I think the 23andMe had like a huge data breach. I'm like, I would never give anybody my DNA. I mean, you could, if somebody really wanted to, they could find it, I'm sure, but like, I will not voluntarily do that, ship it somewhere, and then just be like, all right, have it, good luck, don't clone me or anything like that, don't sell it. But it's really interesting topic. So again, kind of back to the initial video here. MFA can be implemented in many different ways. There are applications that will potentially get you to scan a QR code or enter a code, and then your account will be hooked up to this authenticator. So for instance, if you're trying to sign into your Gmail account, you might have to have, or you can implement if you want, your Google Authenticator app to be two-factor authentication for it. Or maybe it can be your phone number. It might ask you for a phone number. You try to log in from a computer you don't normally log in from. You'll get a text message, and then you'll put that code from the text message into your Gmail, and then it'll let you in. So not only do you have to know your password, but you have to get this text message in this one-time password, this key to put in. And that's, believe it or not, like really, really effective in preventing scams. And this has happened to me personally. Like, I think I'm pretty good with protecting my information online. I'm very high information in that kind of sphere of things. I don't put things places. I have aliases for different accounts. I use web browsers that I like and put privacy first. But this has happened to me. I have gotten login attempts for accounts that were somewhere overseas, and I've been like, okay, what am I going to do about this? But if you have multi-factor authentication, you're good. A lot of times companies are pretty good at blocking things that seem suspicious as well. They probably err on the side of caution, which could be annoying to users, but it really does prevent some serious things from happening. It's a kind of a cascading effect. Like, if you get into one account that a user has, a lot of people reuse the same passwords for everything. And then you might try logging into, if you can get into someone's Instagram account, you might try to log into their Gmail account. You might see if they have like a bank account that's similar. Like, if somebody wanted to, they could really try to do some damage. So it's something that is very beneficial. There's also like huge upsides to securing your information as we go forward. I believe in the next 5 or so years, quantum computing is going to be a real thing. And if people think AI is intense and world changing, my prediction, just from what I'm aware, quantum computing is going to be like this insane thing that is truly going to like exponentially accelerate our lives and research and change the way we live. We have scientists already trying to quantum proof banking infrastructure and encryption keys and things like that, but where traditional computers might be able to break encryption keys with like an unfathomable amount of time, quantum computers might be able to solve these encryption keys in seconds. And that's really scary. It's also very cool. But so we have to be ready for that. And that two-factor authentication is a way of protecting yourself for the future. AI is already doing some crazy things. We've heard about Claude and OpenAI's model like somehow escaping the sandbox that it was in, hacking into an outside company, being caught eventually, but then like being able to get into crazy places through different vulnerability exploits. It's really, really interesting. It's something that if you don't think about it and you're not in that world, you might just never know. You might just think, yeah, of course, like my password will protect me. But these days, you'd be shocked at what information is out there on you. It's not just like your name. It's so much deeper than that. And if somebody can get into your account, especially as we kind of are so all consumed with technology, like if someone in my life just recently like dropped their phone and they went without a phone for a day or two, and we are so attached to these things that one account that's really meaningful to you like could ruin your day, your week, your month. Like, there can be some really serious effects. So the inconvenience of having to put in like a code from a text message can be annoying, and I think there should be some work to be done to have less friction in that experience. And I think with that comes education. But it is something that is beneficial to you. It is for you. Like it is, I guess it's for Google to save them some headaches of, support calls or lawsuits or whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, it is truly for the user. So something to keep in mind the next time you're having a hard time. There's also different things you can do. In the same vein, I recommend password managers. A lot of people don't know about them. I personally use Proton Pass. It's a Swiss company, and creating a strong password for that, it will create passwords for you, very strong passwords, and then you only have to remember you have this one very secure vault, which is the password manager, and you need a biometric, you need two-factor authentication, and of course your traditional username and password for that. And then all of your passwords are in there. You can store it offline, locally. Of course, you can store it on the cloud. These companies are data security companies. If you can't trust them, there's probably not much you can trust. I've never had a problem. I think it's better than just using the same password for everything. Because, of course, like we're human, right? We can only remember so much. But password managers are great. There's also like third-party tools that open source projects you can get. There's one called Keycloak. If you're interested in projects, which you might be if you're listening to this channel, you can set up and self-host your own two-factor, multi-factor authentication server on your home network. I don't know, like, if it's really worth it, but if it's a project that you're interested in, feel free to do so. Keycloak, it's the only one I'm aware of. I'm sure there's more, but you can actually put it in front of your login to your home network or whatever it might be, and it can act as an identity provider, or it can act as like the two-factor, or it can do both. So really cool stuff. A lot of these apps too, there's different versions of them. You can actually use Microsoft's Authenticator, you can use Google's Authenticator, you can use, I'm sure Apple has one. You can tell I'm an Android user, but they all have, like, you can use, if you have an Outlook account, a Microsoft email, you can have Google be your authenticator for that. We're kind of transitioning away from, it used to be like get a text message, get an email, if it's an outside service that you would get that code to. But we're moving away from SMS being, or text messages from being the standard, because they can be spoofed a lot, meaning somebody can get your phone number and there can be duplicate phone numbers depending on the networking and eSIMs. With the rise of that, it's more of a problem. Anyway, there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to be aware of, and of course it's so hard for your everyday person who's not living in this life. You just see this and you're like, oh, it's so annoying. But MFA, it's great. There's benefits to it. As we get further into the internet era, online era, it is going to be more and more important. Of course, it will become second nature to people, but then I'm sure there'll be an evolution of it as well to make it even more secure with the rise of quantum and things like that. So let me know what you think about MFA, if you're using it, if you have parents who call you all the time to figure it out why you have to have this code, or if you've ever had an experience where it saved you, or maybe it could have saved you. Let me know. I find it interesting to hear people's real experiences. I know it's been a while since I've hopped online here, but definitely going to be committed to it. I love the few people that we have listening already so far. I love engaging with you, so leave comments, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and let me know if you have any ideas for topics in the future. If not, let me know what I can do better. Feedback's always appreciated. I try to I don't have like a ton of time to do high production quality with notes, and I don't want it to be scripted. I want it to just be off the cuff with some talking points so that hopefully you get something out of it, but it's not like a Wikipedia article just coming at you with facts. So there's a fine balance there. Let me know what you think. Anyway, I'll see you next time. It's been great talking with you. Cheers.